41 years old. He has lived here in the United States ever since 1993. Johnson was born and raised in Nova Scotia and has been waiting for a pivotal fight like this against another top heavyweight for a long, long time. Some have seen Johnson as being reluctant. He says he just hasn't had the right circumstances up until now. We'll see what he's got tonight. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Oleg Maskaev Kirk Johnson fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Harold. And earlier this evening, you heard Emmanuel Stewart talking about the importance of an amateur career in the preparation of heavyweights. Kirk Johnson had it. Long and decorated amateur career. He won a junior world championship. He was regarded as one of the favorites going to the Barcelona Olympics in 1992. Lost in the quarterfinal there.
To David Izon. Pretty good professional.
Pretty good fighter, that's right. He was nurtured by his father to be a fighter, has been through a succession of top trainers, including Teddy Atlas for a brief period of time, and now is back with the trainer with whom he started, Curtis Coates.
Left Teddy Atlas under unusual circumstance. They had a fight between them, and Johnson bit him in the face.
But you know, in between all of the trainers he's had, I think the real key trainer still has been his father, who's been the one that's really...
His father talks with him all the time, no question about it. And let's take a look at a closer look at Kirk Johnson.
A 92 Olympian, as Jim said, and comes from a line of Canadian heavyweights who have done well. George Chuvalo, Trevor Berbick, Razor Ruddock, and of course, Lennox Lewis. But because of some injuries, he's fought only 3 rounds in 2 fights in the last year and a half.
He had an elbow injury after his win over Al Cole in Tacoma, Washington a year and a half ago, and as the result of that injury, lost 6 months to surgery. That was on the left arm. Now he waits in the ring as the Russian from Brooklyn, Oleg Maskaev, begins to make his way in. Born in Kazakhstan, raised in Uzbekistan, but of Russian lineage. His father was in the Soviet military. He too would have fought in the Olympics in 1992, but he missed those games with a stomach virus. And then shortly after that, came to the United States because, Larry, he says, you want to be a top heavyweight, you better train in America.
Well, just as Johnson has. But if you watched any of the fights from the Olympics, you know how tough those Russians and those fighters from the former Russian republics can be.
And here's a closer look at Oleg Maskaev, whose only 2 losses were to Oliver McCall and David Tua.
Yeah, since he lost to Tua in a controversial stoppage, 10 straight wins, 9 KOs. His trainer says that the reason he isn't being recognized is because he's a white heavyweight, and people are naturally skeptical of white heavyweight. Maybe that's why they call him the Big O for Oleg. Of course, the original Big O, the legendary Oscar Robertson.
And as you're watching Kirk Johnson and Oleg Maskaev, we invite you again to log on to hbo.com/boxing and offer your answer to our website poll question tonight. Who do you think will win on November 11? Will it be Lennox Lewis or will it be David Tua? We'll give you the results after this upcoming fight. Now let's go back to ring announcer Mark Barrow.
The headsets.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cedric Kushner Promotions, in association with the Mohegan Sun Casino and Budweiser, the undisputed, undefeated King of Beers, This Bud's For You, presents the HBO Boxing After Dark main event of the evening, 12 rounds, heavyweights. Your judges at ringside are, from Cromwell, Connecticut, Stephen Epstein. From Brick, New Jersey, Tommy Kazmarek. And from Brookfield, Connecticut, Frank Lombardi. Your referee for this event, from Braintree, Massachusetts, Richard Flaherty. Introducing now the principals first. In the blue corner to my right, wearing the white trunks, weighing in at 232.5 pounds, his professional record reads 29 victories, no defeats, 1 draw, and 21 wins coming by way of knockout. He hails from North Preston, Nova Scotia, Canada. Here is Kirk Johnson. His opponent in the blue corner, wearing the black trunks, weighing 230 pounds, with a professional record of 20 victories, 2 defeats, 15 wins come by way of knockout. He hails from Tashkent, Uzbekistan, introducing Oleg Maskaev. 12 rounds, heavyweight.
Oleg, Kurt. Okay, gentlemen, we went over the instructions in the dressing room. Any questions at all? Okay, on the trunks, right here is low. Okay, same here, right here. Okay? Any questions, guys? Okay, touch them up, guys. Good luck.
As you mentioned, Emmanuel, Maskaev has a reputation for being very calculating. Question we have now is, can he turn it up? Does he want to turn it up the way Lance Whitaker did?
That's going to be a very important question in this fight. Because normally he reminds me of a modern-day type of Max Mellon. He basically uses the left jab. He doesn't do a lot of things with his hook. He basically looks for that perfect right hand. And I think the pace that Kirk is setting right now means he's going to have to pick it up a little bit. Either be guaranteed to have a knockout in the late rounds. Otherwise, he's going to have a problem winning a decision.
Kirk Johnson said a fascinating thing in our fighter meeting yesterday. He said, I looked at Maskaev, I took a look at his jawline, and I said to myself, no way I'm going to knock him out. Now, I asked another top trainer in the sport, Emmanuel, I said, what would you think about a fighter who acknowledges before a fight that he doesn't think he can knock his opponent out? He said, in this case, I think it's a very good thought, because if Kirk Johnson came to me and said he was going to knock Maskaev out, I would say, that's the wrong plan. You need to win a decision.
I would agree 100%. Sometimes you have to face the fact that you're not going to knock out the guy. And if you do, accept it as being just something that's fortunate that happens and be prepared to go for a decision. And in particular case, Johnson knows he's not a great puncher anyway. And the thing that the weakness with Johnson is basically, I don't think he's really that strong inside. I think Maskaev is a much stronger person from the inside. But whether he can land that big right hand is going to be a big factor for Maskaev.
So let's see if Johnson can keep the fight at range. Yes, Larry?
Well, 2 things. One is Johnson may not think he's going to knock him out, but he's letting him know there'll be a price to pay as he comes toward him. And secondly, there's also a little bit of a knot outside the left eye of Maskaev. I don't know if that happened as a result of a punch or whether it was there before, but I hadn't noticed it. I think it was as a result of a punch. When you get a better look, you'll see it.
But I do like the way that Maskaev is fighting. He's fighting a much, much more intense pace than he normally does in most of his fights. And as he's crowding Johnson is trying to throw a right hand that's really not landing that effective.
Well, as Maskaev has worked with a physical trainer over the course of the past 3 years, his body has changed. He used to look a little bit softer and more like just a big, plodding, strong type heavyweight. Now he's got an athletically cut build, but Johnson shows you his quickness with both the left and the right hand there.
And also Maskaev showed his great chin too. He didn't even flinch. Maybe Johnson was right.
That's a given. Maskaev has a beard. You go 11 rounds with David Tua, you've got a beard, and Maskaev did that.
And don't forget, Maskaev didn't have that much experience when he came here in those fights. He is really developing to a pretty decent fighter by moving and relocating here in the United States.
Lives in the Brighton Beach area of Brooklyn, which has many Russian residents. He was giving us a little bit of a restaurant guide last night.
That's the right hand. And he's cracked it before landing.
Kirk Johnson holding on as round 1 comes to a close after Maskaev cracked him with an overhand right.
Yeah, and his legs buckled.
Yeah, you got grip. You all right. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Yeah, that's all right, baby. You Good shape. Huh? You did. You did. Keep on sticking, though. Keep on sticking. You're looking good. Stick, and now you got to stick, throw combination, move. Listen to your stick, and throw combination, and move, okay? You got to move a little faster, Kirk. Move a little faster. You're a little slow out there.
If you watch at the end of the round, a good punch, and Johnson buckled. Fortunate that came in the last seconds of the round rather than in the middle of the round. There it is again from another angle.
But you see the experience from having amateur fights. He grabbed Maskaev. That's come from the experience of that, but I don't think it's going to be enough to hold Maskaev off as the fight progresses.
That's what Robert Davis didn't do with Lance Whitaker. In round one, Maskaev planted 5 out of 37 punches. One of them counted a lot. Johnson 8 out of 54, including, according to CompuBox, 0 for 20 in jabs. Harold Letterman gives the first round to Maskaev, and you heard Curtis Coates telling Kirk Johnson, "Oh no, you won that round. Don't worry."
I gave that round to Johnson.
Well, regardless, I don't think it's going to go to limit. I think Maskaev's going to knock him out from what I can see.
That was a right hand by Johnson, and Maskaev stepping right through it again. Big left hand by Johnson, and Maskaev keeps coming.
Maskaev's is close, and he's going to land that short right hand. And Kirk's right hand is not that effective. But the thing is, Maskaev is crowding him. He's getting very much on top of him where he can't see the right hand as it's coming.
Maskaev stepping in and shortening the distance. And again, having the chin gives you the freedom to do this. If you think you can take your opponent's punch, you just keep coming forward and get into range to throw your own. It's so important in the heavyweight division to be able to withstand punishment.
You have to be able to take the punch, particularly heavyweight. What Maskaev is doing, he's shooting his right hand after he gets very close. He's not shooting it at a long enough distance where Kirk can avoid it. Normally, Kirk Johnson depends on moving back and getting out of range, but in this case, Maskaev is getting extremely close before he throws the right hand.
Vaughn Bean fought here on the undercard earlier this evening, and Johnson threw a right hand that came out of the Vaughn Bean playbook. Johnson just can't keep Maskaev off of it. Now he bombs him again with an overhand right. Johnson's plan was to jab and move. We see less and less of that.
That's the right hand.
Blocks him with the right.
The short right hand after he gets very close.
Trainer Bobby Jackson asked Maskaev to be more aggressive early. He said, "I'm tired of watching Oleg let fighters coast. I want him to go out and kick ass from the very beginning." And Maskaev here in round 2 has a kick-ass look in his eye.
I've never saw him fight with this type of intensity.
Johnson with a body shot. Momentarily backs Maskaev off. Here comes the big O again.
You get him in the corner, and you start looking at him, and you're pulling back. Give me that one. You're pulling back on your right hip. Stay on your left hip. Whatever comes, work like we're working. Slip it and punch hard. You understand? Give me a deep breath. Nice and easy. Control your breathing. You know what to do. Come on, this guy wants to go. Keep him backing up. But don't look at him when he stops. Work him over. Got me? You know what we worked on? Let him find you. Jab, move. Shove him the pretty leg. Let them tossers fly. Okay? You got it? You all right?
You got his mouthpiece?
Yeah, we got it. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. Let's move this round now. Don't slap with this boy.
Wait for the bell. Back to the corner.
Kirk Johnson has never lost a professional fight. But he confessed to us yesterday in our fighter meeting that he's nervous before every fight. And he thinks of every conceivable scenario by which he could lose. And he keeps asking his trainer, am I good enough? Did I do enough to get ready for this? Kirk Johnson has seen nothing in the first 2 rounds that should give him a greater sense of security against an oncoming Oleg Maskaev.
Being nervous before a fight is a normal reaction for most fighters, so it's nothing that unusual. But I'm really surprised that Johnson is fighting with so much determination himself. This has turned out to be a much more intense fight than I'd ever anticipated between these two.
Well, but I'm not surprised at all, Emmanuel. He may have some limitations, and certainly does in terms of his strength. But he's always shown some courage when he was face down, and does the best he can for a guy who doesn't have a big punch. He just took a real hard right hand.
Don't hit.
Johnson is throwing right hands also, but his right hands are pretty much being shielded by Maskaev, and they have a little bit more arm on them than Maskaev. Maskaev have much more body weight, and they're much more shorter and direct. So it's really going to be a battle of the right hands.
And you heard trainer Bobby Jackson urging Maskaev to keep that body weight coming forward. Not to lean back on the right hip, but rather to lean forward and keep punching.
He's fighting a much more aggressive fight than I ever anticipated.
So it's a good one here midway through the 3rd. Kirk Johnson throwing leather and doing some damage, but unable so far to halt the on-rushing Maskaev, who has a lot of self-belief to go with his big right hand.
The pressure and the tempo of the fight may be a big factor in the fact that Johnson, his mouth is open very much early in the fight. And if that continues the way it's going to be a big factor as the fight goes on, meaning that Johnson is getting tired. And he cannot afford to get tired with a fighter who punches with such a devastating short right hand as Maskaev has.
Trade rights. Johnson holding on every time he gets gripped with the right. Maskaev barging forward with his jab as though holding a telephone pole in front of him.
You notice Maskaev very seldom throws the left hook. All body punches. The entire attack is basically the short right hand to the
That part is very Russian, isn't it? You know? You don't see the left hook to the body.
Yeah.
He's supposedly been polishing the uppercut in the gym. We haven't seen one yet.
Okay. All right.
And round 3 comes to a close. And tune in on Tuesday, October 10 for the next edition of Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. Among the stories, a look at parents who become violent at their kids' sporting events. We'll try to find out why it happens and how to prevent it. Bernie Goldberg, great correspondent. Also, a profile of New York Rangers center Mark Messier. He's back in New York for one last stop before the Hall of Fame. Real Sports, where nothing is out of bounds.
Understand? Come on now. The guy wants to go, but he needs you to help him to go. When he leans away, take the body, but punch and recover. All right, hey.
Center, you're doing good, baby, but you are, but I need a little bit more work. Okay.
CompuBox numbers through 3 rounds say Maskaev has been the better jabber. 16 out of 58 to 7 out of 79 for Johnson. The jab was more key to Johnson's plan for winning the fight. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. I got it too.
Hold it, Harold. We've got a knockdown. A big knockdown with a left hand by Kirk Johnson.
6, 7, 8. All right. Big round. Put your hands up.
This is a whole new fight, Manny.
A left hook that came after the right hand. No one was expecting a left hook. But this, once again, is going to be interesting to see if he can survive.
Maskaev goes through the ropes. Same place where he put Hasim Rahman last year in Atlantic City.
It's over.
And the referee stops the fight. And Kirk Johnson, who told us that he didn't think he could knock out Oleg Maskaev, does it with a huge left hand. I mean a big one.
Well, we've talked about it, Emmanuel, endlessly about the left hook being the most devastating punch in boxing.
And particularly the left hook that comes after right hand, much like Mike McCallum hit Don Curry with, and Bob Foster knocked out Big Tiger. Bob Foster knocked out Mike Corey.
Joe Frazier knocked down Muhammad Ali with a left hook.
Particularly after right hand, you never see it when you throw a right hand. It comes off the blind side, and that was not so much. It was a hard punch, but the fact that he didn't even see the punch. It would got to be a battle of right hands, and Kirk cheated a little bit to throw a left hook after he threw a right hand.
Well, he had Maskaev coming in aggressively, looking to throw the right, leaving himself a little bit open. And he is a quicker-handed fighter than Maskaev. So
I wonder if Curtis Coates asked for that left hook after the right hand. He's a pretty sweet fighter. He's pulled a few tricks himself back in his career.
Well, I think it got to be, as I said, a battle of right hands, and if someone threw a left hook, it was something that no one expected.
It was a beauty. Larry Merchant headed into the ring. Kirk Johnson enhances his unbeaten credentials. Been waiting a long time for this man to emerge into stardom, and he might have done it with a big blow right there.
He did it tonight.
Oleg Maskaev was the man we were calling number 3 in the heavyweight division, partially because he knocked Hasim Rahman through the ropes in Atlantic City, and now it's Maskaev who gets to go through the ropes tonight. And let's take another look, Manny, and tell us again about how he set up the left hook.
But basically, he threw a right hand, which basically Maskaev was looking for all night, but he came back with a left hook, and that was something that he had not been throwing effective the last couple of rounds. And Maskaev, it wasn't so much that the punch was just hard, he didn't see the punch. And that's the worst punch in boxing, to get hit with, the punch you don't see.
As you say, Mike McCallum against Donald Curry, Bob Foster all those years ago.
Oh, it's the most dangerous punch in boxing, a left hook that follows a right hand.
Boom. Brilliant shot by Johnson. This is the man who said to us yesterday, I don't think I can knock Maskaev out. He proves himself wrong as he comes back to do more damage and just lands with lefts and rights until Oleg goes through the ropes.
Both fighters came in with a lot of determination in their eyes tonight, which, you know, and this is a fight that could have easily been a very boring fight, with Maskaev basically back and back like he has did in the past a lot, waiting for the perfect right hand. But he came out more aggressive, and Kirk Johnson just had a look in his eye when he came in, and he was just determined to not be denied tonight. So I think the emotional state of the mind made it a much more exciting fight than I expected it to be.
And you know what? Talent rose to the top, because as good as Maskaev is, he doesn't have the natural gifts that Kirk Johnson has always had, and tonight Kirk Johnson capitalized on those gifts. Let's go to Mark Barrow with the official particulars on the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 51 seconds of the 4th round. The winner by knockout and still undefeated, Kirk Johnson.
So Johnson further enhances his unbeaten record, blemished only by a draw with Al Cole in a fight in which Johnson had 3 points taken away for low blows, and he later came back to avenge that defeat, decisioning Cole a year and a half ago in Tacoma, Washington. Since that time, 18 months with only 3 rounds of activity. He was a little bit of an unknown quantity coming in against the much more known quantity in Maskaev. They fired rockets for the better part of 4 rounds until Johnson put him away. Let's take a look at final copy box numbers on this heavyweight war. Maskaev landing 34 of 128, Johnson 33 of 159. The overwhelming bulk of the punches landed on both sides were power punches. And you see there, Maskaev 18 of 68 in the power punch category. Johnson 26 out of 78, including the huge counter left hook that produced the knockout victory. And now Larry stands by with Kirk Johnson.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Kirk. Now, first, you told us that one look at Maskaev and you didn't think you could do what you wound up doing, knocking him out. Were you surprised?
I was very surprised. First of all, I give thanks to Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. I'd like to say what's up to the guys back in Texas, especially Ron Welch and the Coopers. But yes, by looking at him, he looked like a very tough guy. He was a tough guy. He fought David Tua, went 11 rounds, and I just knew that I couldn't knock him out. But that's the time you get knockouts, when you don't try to knock him out.
Did he hurt you when he landed a hard punch at the end of the first round?
I think it was the first round. Did I say it was hurt? It was the first round. He did sting me.
Yeah.
And that made me come back into reality. Then I had to say to myself, well, Kirk, you got to do some type of boxing to keep this guy off of you.
Because you came out very early on throwing some punches at him. Was that just to let him know that he couldn't come back at you freely, or what was your purpose?
That's what was to let him know that he couldn't come to me and do anything he wants. You know, Curtis told me, establish my respect early. Don't get into no type of exchange. Use the jab, but you're going to have to nail him with something to keep him from making you bounce all around and make yourself tired.
Did he hurt you at any other time with those right hands?
I don't remember any other time, but the first time he did hurt me. The other times were more or less like glancing shots, and I seen him coming, so I was able to go with him.
Was he open because he seemed to be coming at you like he thought he could get to you anytime and that he wasn't concerned about your power?
I think that's was the real reason. At first, he was concerned for my power, but after I threw a couple shots at him and glanced him, he probably figured that I never had no power. So that's the reason why he came to me so careless.
All right, let's take a look at the first knockdown, and Kirk, you describe to us what you see.
I seen his his right hand down, and that's when I came back with my left hook.
Were you planning on throwing the right and following with the left that way?
No, I wasn't. I was just planning on throwing a 1-2 and then backing off. But when I saw that he was so open after I threw the right hand, then I said I might as well just come back with a left hook. And that's how I caught him.
All right, this is the end. Did you know that he was seriously hurt?
No, I didn't. That's why I kept on throwing punches even when he went through the rope. I knew I hurt him, but I didn't know he was that hurt. I thought he just lost his balance and fell through the ropes.
All right, there have always been questions about you, Kirk. You've always been a potential top heavyweight. Do you feel finally that you've answered the questions and you've broken through tonight?
Yes, I think that I did answer those questions. Everybody was saying, why didn't Kirk Johnson fight this guy or that guy? Everybody rated Oleg so high. So this is the perfect time for me to beat him when everybody regarded him so high. Now that I beat him, now you got to regard me as the next man in line. Other than Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, and David Tua, because he is #1 and he's ready for the fight. He will be fighting for the world title.
So we can assume that you feel you're ready to fight anyone out there.
I feel I'm ready to fight anyone out here. I'm not going to say, yes, I'll fight anybody tomorrow. Of course, I have to go in the gym and work on what I done wrong in this fight, because for me to get hit with the right hand, that type of right hand, it shows that I was doing something wrong. I was over anxious. So get back to the gym and don't take a big, long layoff. I'm not injured anyway, so I can get back and just do what I have to do to prepare for the other guys.
Thank you very much, Kirk. Again, congratulations. Jim.
And in body style, the second coming of the young Mike Tyson, 5'10", 226. Like the young Tyson, he depends mostly on the left hook for his power. Ibeabuchi with a 9-inch, or a 9-pound weight advantage, I should say. 5.5-inch reach advantage, and if you look at those dimensions, you won't be surprised to hear that Ibeabuchi's plan is to try to keep Tua away at the end of his longer jab. He wants to box Tua, at least in the early going. Rules of the bout with our ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The David Tua Ike Ibeabuchi fight is scheduled for 12 rounds. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. The doctor or the referee can stop the fight, and you can be saved by the bell in the 12th and final round only. Jim.
All right, Harold, and now let's welcome Ike Ibeabuchi into the ring. Moved from Nigeria to Dallas 5 years ago to train under the watchful eye of former welterweight star Curtis Coates, one of the better welterweights of the 50s and 60s, and a man who's becoming more and more revered with each passing month as a trainer, Larry.
Curtis Coates, welterweight champion for 3 or 4 years, had 100 professional fights, 100 professional wins, I should say. Ibeabuchi has the confidence that unbeaten fighters often have, and which makes them so difficult to beat. Incidentally, he says that he would like to be a scientist after his boxing career. He says that Tua is acid, he's base, and base neutralize acid. I don't know what neutralizes base. It may be David Tua.
Ibeabuchi saying that we're about to watch a chemical inevitability here. Base neutralizing acid. There's the record. 16 wins, 12 KOs. All of them against lesser-known opposition. God first, it says on the front of the robe. Ibeabuchi is sponsored by a fellow member of his Assemblies of God church in Dallas, and says that as a heavyweight, he's on a mission from God to win the championship of the world.
He's from the Igbo tribe of Nigeria, the same tribe that produced the great Dick Tiger.
And Tua, born in Samoa, raised in New Zealand, went to the 1992 Olympics as New Zealand's heavyweight representative, more or less on his own, along with the guidance of Kevin Barry, the man whose hand you see on Tua's shoulder there. Barry, of course, was the New Zealander who was fighting against Evander Holyfield in Los Angeles in 1984 when Holyfield was disqualified for hitting on the brake. The left-hooking Tua with 27 wins, 23 by knockout. He won the bronze medal there in Barcelona in 1992. Incidentally, Ibeabuchi says, I would have been the Nigerian heavyweight in Atlanta if I had stayed in Nigeria and stayed an amateur there, but I wanted to come to the USA and become a pro. And now let's go up to ring announcer Jim Hall for the introductions.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Arco Arena, Don Jargon Productions and Main Events Monitor, in association with your undisputed, undefeated King of Beers, Budweiser, this Bud's for you, present 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC International Heavyweight Championship. This bout is sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, Chairman Willie Buchanan, Executive Officer Richard DeCure, Assistant Chief Inspector Rob Lynch, Vice Chairman Ernie Weiner, Commissioners Elmer Costa and Frank Asvito. Our physicians at ringside are Doctors Robert Carnes, Smith Ketchum, and Van Buren Lemons. Our timekeeper is Stan Gordon. This contest also sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, President Jose Suleiman, and Supervisor Hay Collegian. Our three judges assigned to score this bout on the 10-point must system are Rudy Jordan, Hank Ellisbrew, and Dick Young. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action is Lou Filippo. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our main event. Introducing first the challenger, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black. He weighed in at 235 pounds. His professional record is unblemished. 16 victories, 12 by knockout. From Dallas, Texas, here is Ike, the President, Ibeabuchi. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trimmed with white and weighing 226 pounds. He too is undefeated with 27 victories, 23 by knockout. From South Auckland, New Zealand, here is the WBC International Heavyweight Champion, David the Terminator Tua.
Okay, let's go.
The red tape supposed to go right up to the top of the gloves?
Right. What? No, they did it. It's okay.
Let them put it on.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Okay, Tua. Okay, you had your instructions in the dressing room. Give me a good fight, shake hands.
Here we go.
Fighters like Tua always look easier to hit or even easier to beat than they really are. They have such extraordinary will. They put so much pressure on
You can get cut that way.
that they can undermine even the best of athletes.
And Lou Duva doesn't like the way Ike Ibeabuchi's gloves have been put on, and so now Ibeabuchi's gloves will be adjusted under the guidance of referee Lou Filippo.
We'll tape him in the second round. They got to go back and get it.
You heard Filippo say that they will tape his gloves in the second round.
Got to go back and get the tape. And immediately Immediately, Ibeabuchi begins jabbing to try to keep Tua out there on the end of his jab. People in David Tua's camp, notably trainer Ronnie Shields, saying Ibeabuchi's a better fighter than David Izandridze, stronger, a better boxer. If so, Tua could be in for a long night.
Ibeabuchi starting very fast. Good combinations, body and head.
Tua a little bit slow to get untracked here in the early going. Ibeabuchi, as Larry pointed out, working behind the jab and landing combinations. Uppercut for Ibeabuchi. Tua not getting off. Hard right hand over the top by Tua. Ibeabuchi says, I've got your right hand right here. And comes back to the body.
He also had a low left, for which he was warned.
Tua leaning in and looking to get off at close range. Ibeabuchi strong enough to keep Tua bodied off and go back to working on his jab. If you're at all worried about Ibeabuchi's confidence coming in against the extremely heralded Tua, you don't have to be concerned about that anymore. It's Tua who looks as though he's a little bit overwhelmed here in round one, and Ibeabuchi is just firing away.
Hey, keep him up.
Sometimes a fighter, Jim, early in the fight will throw a lot of punches because he's not confident, because he wants to see how he behaves in there as well as his opponent. Tua taking his time. Good left hook. Doesn't faze him.
Ibeabuchi landing the left hook right on the button. Tua's only had a chance to throw one of his patented sweeping left hooks. Ibeabuchi just a little bit low, but Tua had referee Lou Filippo blocked off from that one.
One difference you already see in Tua from his last couple of fights, which is he's trying to smother Ibeabuchi's punches by staying right on top of him.
Ibeabuchi missing with a big left hook. Tua blocking a right hand, and now Tua begins to bob with the head as round one comes to a close.
You feeling all right? Yeah, man. All right, baby. You the man, right? Who the man? All right, you the man. You the man. All right, look. That was a good round. You came up one time and got hit with a hook. Don't come straight up high, all right? We don't want you coming up high, all right? Look, Tua. Snap that jab out there, all right? You can't lay it out there with this guy. Remember, this guy, he's fighting your fight on the inside, okay? Look.
You don't want to stay in that pit, okay? Yeah. Now, look, we got the boxing. Yeah. Pop it with the jab. Get on out of there. Don't stay there all day with him. Take a deep breath. Stop. Take a deep breath. You're doing fine. But don't stay in there all day. You stay in there, let him know you're not scared. You got that jab. Okay?
Can Ibeabuchi sustain that level, Jim? He hasn't had long, tough fights. He's got to prove that he can just stay with it and fight that fight for 6, 8, 10 rounds and then dig something out for the championship round.
And he sustained the Philip Holliday-like punch output. Ibeabuchi throwing 91 punches by CompuBox count in round number one. The heavyweight average is between 45 and 50 punches per round, so Ibeabuchi doubled the average in round one. And he comes out firing again in round two.
Hey, hold it. Keep him up.
That's the second warning.
Tua bobbing up into his big left hook. You heard Ronnie Shields telling Tua between rounds, we don't want you to stick your head up like that. Stay down.
Ibeabuchi keeping that right hand high, to fend off the powerful left hook of Tua.
And Ibeabuchi still no less bashful about throwing punches as he continues to fire away in combinations in round 2.
These are big, powerful men pounding on each other at this stage of the show.
Maybe it's just something about David Tua that steps up the activity level. His fight with David Izanrate produced more punches thrown by 2 heavyweights in a 12-round fight than any other since CompuBox started counting them about 15 years ago.
Tua has started to find some openings with his right hand, not his best hand.
Though Ibeabuchi has certainly thrown a lot of punches and landed a fair number in the first couple of rounds, he has not done any perceptible damage to Tua here in the early going.
Well, basically, Jim, that's what makes Tua Tua.
Right hand landed for Ibeabuchi. Tua getting inside and trying to throw the left hook.
Ibeabuchi is very impressive to this point.
Left hook landed inside for Tua. Tua weighed in at 226, Ibeabuchi at 235. You have to figure they both gained a little weight since then. So when they lean against each other, it's 500 pounds of muscle looking for room to move in the middle of the ring.
Very fast pace.
All right, baby, all right, that's my man. That's my man right there. All right, Tua. Now look. Tua. Look. How you feel, baby? Look, man, we're looking good, baby. Look, this guy can't keep up this pace like this. Tua. Gotta get a little close.
And there's a look at Erin Antcolt, a doctor's assistant right here in Sacramento. Does a little part-time work as a round card girl. Most enviable job on the planet for women like Erin.
You're doing good. Let's keep on that side, all right? I got this little bitch. You just keep fighting. I got you. Okay?
Stay close to him like that, all right?
All right.
Pressure's hurting him. All right? No, punch and step him out. If you're not going to punch, you got to walk around the guy. Keep turning this guy, okay?
Keep
Hold the
turning
body.
this guy.
Put the short overhand right.
Keep turning this guy.
Ibeabuchi again threw 91 punches in round 2, so he's consistent. 91 punches thrown in round 1, 91 punches thrown in round 2.
Well, if he can do that for 12 rounds, it'll be very hard to beat.
Loading up the uppercut. That can get dangerous, particularly against Tua's left hook. Ibeabuchi just keeps throwing. It was Tua who said, I should throw enough punches that my offense is my defense. So far, it is Ibeabuchi who is constructing exactly that fight plan.
Ibeabuchi so far has smothered the big left hand of Tua, and that's enabling him to dominate this fight.
So the job for Tua is to stick with the program, not get frustrated, and hope that Ibeabuchi wears down so that that punch output comes down a little bit, and that he'll get careless and make a mistake which allows Tua to land his left hook. can just feel Tua waiting and trying to bob into a position to land that left hook, and it just isn't there. As so far, Ibeabuchi does a good job of taking the left hook away. Tua goes to the right hand over the top, and Ibeabuchi comes back with a right hand of his own over the top and an uppercut. Now they trade body shots.
So far, neither man has moved the other. Eventually, something has to give.
Hold it! Fighting in a phone booth through 3 rounds. Want to see a hot young prospect? How about a look at welterweight ferocious Fernando Vargas against a brave but overmatched opponent named Bill Burden tonight. That's Vargas in the multicolored shorts. And what a natural he is, Larry.
Yeah, he's from Oxnard. He medaled at the Olympics. He appears to have it all.
No!
Stop.
No!
Stop.
No!
No.
What the fuck are you doing?
The fight is over.
Including the look of a fighter.
He's gonna have to go right around him. You're not going to the right. You're standing in front of him, right? Go around him and get your hands off. Break a rib, baby. You got this here. Hit him on the shoulder. But punch hard.
Overhand right is there. The overhand right is there.
Let me see you punch with authority in there. Right? Get close and turn him around. Turn him around in there. Come on.
Through 3 rounds, Ike Ibeabuchi not slowing down against David Tua. Ibeabuchi with 182 punches, 91 apiece in the first 2 rounds, through 95 punches in the 3rd round. So with his extraordinary activity level, he's dominating the fight so far.
In smothering his opponent, Tua seems to be smothering himself. He doesn't seem free enough to get off.
You heard Lou Duva asking him between rounds to step into position to throw to the body. But he doesn't have time to step into position to throw to the body because Ibeabuchi is throwing at him the whole time. Fitting well after 1 a.m. on the East Coast that you got 2 big heavyweights pounding away at one another. In another boxing after dark brawl, Ike Ibeabuchi looking for a huge upset over rising prospect David Tua. And so far, Ibeabuchi winning the first 3 rounds, at least in our eyes, as he doubles Tua in punch output. Tua begins to rake Ibeabuchi's body with hard right hands. Trade hard body shots as round 4 comes to a finish. Ibeabuchi still holding his own against Tua.
Take it in, baby. Suck it up. You're doing good. You're doing good. You staying in there too long for me.
Yeah, you need to move on.
You got to make him let you get outside. Get outside and stick the jab 4 or 5 times. Then go back in there, okay? Get outside.
You let the motherfucker get too close to you.
Give me water right there.
Let him get too close to you.
Get outside, you.
Harold, how do you have the fight so
Larry, 39-37, 3 rounds to 1. Ike Ibeabuchi. I thought he outpunched him for the first 3 rounds. The 4th round, real nice job by referee Lou Filippo, who told Ibeabuchi, cut it out with that forearm shiver, quit shoving him off with your shoulder, which is really the thing to do. But in any case, I thought David Tua did get enough good shots to win the 4th round. This is a tough fight on the judges. They got to lead and squirm to get a good angle to see the fight.
You're right. We both have almost the same angle. Harold, I have it 4-zip for Ibeabuchi. We had an upset at the Paris Open today. Martina Hingis losing. We had an upset in the Belmont Stakes today. Silver Charm losing. Are we getting another upset here?
Are you saying that Ibeabuchi hits like Eva Maoli?
Right down the line. Backhands and forehands.
And if Tua gets desperate, you might see more and more unforced errors. So far, Tua trying to stay within his envelope and hope that he can wear Ibeabuchi down. He'll need more body punching to do that. Working upstairs, just not getting it done for David Tua, who tends to take 2 or 3 punches in return every time he tries to hit Ibeabuchi in the head. Like that. More and more it appears that if Tua is going to get something done here, he'll have to find a way to chop Ibeabuchi down from the body up.
I sense that Ibeabuchi is slowing down a little bit. Still have a lot of rounds to go.
Yeah, he can slow down a lot, and that isn't going to necessarily give Tua control of the fight. Uppercut landing inside for Tua. Now he begins to score across the top, and Ibeabuchi comes back to the body himself. And continuing to shoulder Tua off, looking for room to punch.
The referee said to Ibeabuchi, we're not playing football here, as he tried to shoulder Tua out of the way.
And Ibeabuchi is thinking, why is he talking about soccer?
Tua did get in a couple of good shots, his best shots of the fight so far.
And Ibeabuchi answers with left hooks of his own. Now they begin to trade shots in the center of the ring. And you get the impression that over the long haul, this would favor David Tua. Ibeabuchi obviously with the urge to give back just as good as he gets. That right hand beginning to drop. And maybe Tua will get a chance to land his left hook.
This is like a big offensive line going against a big defensive line. A lot of leather popping.
And the left hook got in, as for the first time all night, Ibeabuchi allowed his right hand to wander away from his cheek.
That's the way you fight. That's the way you fight. Come here, bud. That's the way you're supposed to beat this guy. Tua, he's hurt, baby. He's hurt. Listen to me.
Him a couple times.
Tua, come on. Let the hook go now. Don't hold the hook back no damn more. You understand? Look, this guy came and fucking breathe.
Hey, let's box him, all right? Okay. We're making a duel out of this, and we don't have to do that. Okay. You got the skills to do it. Let's go out there and box him, all right?
When you fight him inside, fight him inside, then get out of there, and then go back to your boxing. You stand inside too low, you let him get set up for shit. Fight him inside, then get out of there and jab there. Then go back inside, fight him, and come out of there. Okay. You stand there too long. Okay.
Here we see Tua starting to work with his left hook. The body shots have started to open his opponent up a little bit. And also, Jim, it's just that he was fighting at such a furious pace in those first 3 and 4 rounds that he had to slow down some.
Red marks around the right eye of David Tua, abrasions on the outside of his cheek. You saw Ibeabuchi's punch output dropping 68 blows in that last round. That's still an extraordinarily high punch output for a heavyweight, but far from the 91, 91, 95 with which he opened the bout. Now Tua driving Ibeabuchi back with the left hook. Tua's got to keep working to the body and keep trying to bring that right hand down. Now the right hand lands across the top for Tua. Ibeabuchi coming back with left hooks of his own. War of attrition in Sacramento. Can David Tua wear down Ike Ibeabuchi and overcome what would appear to be an early lead on the scorecards for the Nigerian upstart? Feinting with the right and firing the left hook. Tua starting to get some room to work and getting a little bit more of a sense of himself in there as round 6 progresses. And remember, it's scheduled for 12. Ibeabuchi losing some snap on his punches. That quick left hook by Tua. Best round so far for the New Zealander. Tua blocking Ibeabuchi's left with his right hand. Stepping in behind the jab. Ibeabuchi not defending himself nearly as well now as was the case in the earlier rounds.
But he's showing to himself to be a little bit more versatile, getting a blow by standing outside and scoring with some lighter punches, and Tua has no answer there.
And as Ibeabuchi's punch count drops, he uses his hands less, starts to use his feet more, trying to create distance between himself and the hard-punching Tua. Ibeabuchi fighting much more defensively now, responding to what Tua does. The combinations belong to the Samoan-born New Zealander. Ibeabuchi being reduced here in round 6 to 1 punch at a time. Now he tries to throw a combination, and Tua counters it with a left hook. Right hand in close by Tua. Best round of the fight for David Tua. Hey, watch for HBO's entertaining documentary, Long Shots, the life and times of the ABA. Relive Dr. J's dunks, Rick Barry's passes, and LeBurn Tart's all-around game. The show premieres Monday night at 10 p.m. Roger Brown, Dan Issel, Willie Wise. What a great league it was. Darnell Hillman. I went to an Anaheim Amigos game, Larry.
Go to the right, hit him on the shoulder, and then you'll hit him on the chin.
I saw Wilt Chamberlain coach the San Diego team.
That would be the Conquistadors.
But you got to punch more to the body. Got to go hard to the body. I got you with here. Look, Tua, stay close to him, all right? But look, Tua.
Don't quit. You know you can go 12.
Step it up. Get deep breath. You do a great, Sean. Keep your hands up.
Come on, no pity. Hurt this guy.
That was an odd statement from Curtis Cokes in the corner when he said to his fighter, don't quit. What did he see, or what does he know that we don't? We didn't see any quit. We just saw him slowing down a little, which would seem to be normal.
But I think he didn't like seeing Ibeabuchi on the defensive and Tua dictating the action so clearly as was the case in the last part of round 6. So now Ibeabuchi will try to seize the initiative in the fight again, but he's backing up, popping the jab out there, not landing power shots or throwing in combinations the way he was earlier in the bout. Tua getting more and more assertive. starting to live by the jab, and it's not nearly as effective as it was when he was firing combinations behind it. Tua slowing down just a little bit in the 7th as compared to what he brought in the 6th. Easier for Tua to land right hands across the top than it is for him to get in his vaunted left hook. So you see David go into that hard right over the top just like that. And Ibeabuchi answers with a right hand over the top of his own.
Right, hold it. Watch your head in there.
Cross landed for David Tua. Ibeabuchi still trying to keep him off with the jab. Round 7 has become another power punching round for Tua. More and more of the right hand leads landing for Tua, and now he gets in a left hook behind it. Ibeabuchi not nearly as assertive now as he was in the first 4 or 5 rounds of the fight.
And David Tua just keeps coming as his type of fighter has to do. This is what has made him special up to this point in his career.
The relentlessness of Tua. Hard right hands and the power left hook. Defining round 7 as the bell approaches.
Come on. David, you're not listening to me. Look, move to the right. Throw the short overhand right and come back with that double hook.
Hold on.
Tua, you're going to catch him all the time, baby. You understand? Look, Tua. Now, look, you know we've been level with you, all right? This is a very close fight now. Look, the little small jabs that this guy is throwing is scoring punches on you. You got the jab with the guy. When you get close, throw the overhand right and back to the double up with the hook. But look, go back to the...
You can't let him just walk and do what the fuck he want to do. You got to make a run at him. You got to show him you're a bad man. You got to make a little run at him now, okay? You can't just stand there and just let him dictate what the fuck's going to happen this round. You go make a run at it, a strong run at it. Okay. Strong, hit him as hard as you can. Okay. Come on, let's go.
So, baby, pick the left hand up, all right? Right, baby.
You heard Curtis Coates, the trainer, who senses that Tua is coming on and feels that his fighter has to make a stand here, not to let it get away from him.
Curtis Coates told us about Ike Ibeabuchi. He said he has more desire than any fighter I've ever known in the game, and that's saying something because Curtis Coates has been in the game more than 40 years. He's going to need all of that desire and more now. In the last 2 rounds, Ibeabuchi's connect percentage by CompuBox count slipping well below 20%. He had been landing at a 50% rate early in the bout. And Tua's connect percentage is rising as he gets in more and more of those right hands across the top, the occasional left hook, and when he remembers to do it, body shots. Good hard right hand to the body by Tua. Ibeabuchi tries to come back to Tua's ribcage, but without effect. A right hand. Ibeabuchi firing mostly against Tua's arms and elbows. Got in a left hook, but Tua landed the counter right hand in return. And the left hook landing flush for Tua. Ibeabuchi throwing, but by far the most damage now being done by the hard-punching New Zealander, David Tua. Tua has made Ibeabuchi so conscious of the right hand that the left hook is increasingly there for him.
He's fighting gallantly, but he hasn't been able yet to mount the kind of all-out attack that Koch's asked him for. So you have to wonder if he has one left in him.
Tough assignment for David Tua tonight, trying to wear down a fighter who got the jump on him and was more of an aggressor in the early rounds. And that left hook by Ibeabuchi, his best punch in 3 rounds. Lands another quick left hook. As Tua, so conscious of aggression with the right hand that he started to drop it, wasn't blocking his cheek, and Ibeabuchi took advantage to twice land the left hook.
Let's go. Give me that swell. All right, we're looking good, David. Now look, David, look. Baby, look. You got the punch, Tua. Look, you waiting too long with this guy. This guy trying to steal it. He's trying to steal the round from you at the last 30 seconds. Now that's what we working on, right? Okay? Yeah. Now, Tua, listen to me. You got to go back to the body. Look, you're throwing the overhand right, but you're falling short with your hook because you're not coming back with nothing. Throw the right hand, overhand right. Don't hook up. Then look, go back to the body.
We're
with the guy.
2/3 of the way through this fight. How do you have it?
Larry, I got it close. 4 rounds apiece, 76-76. I got it all even. I thought David Tua definitely won 4, 5, 6, and 7. He kept moving forward. He was landing the cleaner, harder shots, and all of a sudden, in the 8th round, I thought he ran into a couple of really good shots that Ike landed. So I get the first 3 rounds to Ike, the 8th round to Ike. I got it all even.
I have it 4, 3, and 1 for President Ike, as he calls himself, Mr. President. We have seen nothing not to like Ike about so far in this fight.
Interestingly, in round 8 by CompuBox numbers, David Tua threw 82 punches. So Tua's punch output rising through the course of the bout. Ibeabuchi threw 73 punches in that round. It's still a very high output for a heavyweight. Hard left hook to the body by Tua. Ibeabuchi still comes forward. 2 very strong heavyweights. And some of the snap beginning to return to Ike Ibeabuchi's punches in the latter part of round 8 and now the beginning of round 9. For a while he was toying with the jab. Now he's sticking it with resolution again.
You may wonder, how does a fighter like this come out of nowhere? I frankly admit I had never heard of him until this fight was made. 16 professional fights, short amateur career, but he's had excellent teaching. He has a magnificent body, and he wants to win.
Well, I'll tell you what, for a division that's gotten so much bad ink and bad publicity in the last 5 or 6 years, there is a ton of talent in the heavyweight division.
We've seen some excellent foreign fighters, Jim. We haven't seen one of them yet rise to the level of champion.
But maybe Tua will. And you saw that uppercut stopping Ibeabuchi in his tracks for the moment.
We haven't seen anyone yet who was a Tyson or a Holyfield. Both of those fighters in their 30s.
Tua taking more and more chances now through round 9. You saw him slinging that big right hand over the top. He's bound to take the occasional left hook in return when he throws a punch like that. But by this point, you suspect that Tua has decided Ibeabuchi can't really hurt him. Good blocking of the left hook by Tua there with the right hand. And Tua able to throw across the top and come back twice to the body. Maybe a tiny bit low. Lou Filippo says keep him up. And as Tua has made an impression to the body in this round, Ibeabuchi again lost the snap off his jab.
Tua. You got 2 hands, baby. Look, you got 2 hands. Tua, you got to move both hands, baby. That's all I can tell you. Look, Tua, you're going the wrong way. Go to the right. Throw the right hand and start doubling up on the hook. Okay? Tua. Now look, start leading off with the hook now at the top. All right?
You got to get close
at the
to
top, then go to the body. Okay? Give me some water.
I called him on it. You got to get mean, son. I got to get mean, big guy. So you're slipping away from us, okay?
Come on ahead.
Huh? Come on now, come on. You got to make me a serious run now. Okay. Come on, baby. Help me out here. Come on, make a serious run at this man.
You got to stay to the body, though, Tua.
Here we see Tua using that left hand that has brought him to this point. 3 hooks, partially blocked, followed by the uppercut.
Round 10 of a scheduled 12 between David Tua and Ike Ibeabuchi, and if the plan is for Tua to get a lot of tough rounds, he's getting them at this stage in his career. 12th round knockout of David Izanrite in December, then 11 rounds with Maskaev a couple of months ago, and now this as he goes into the 10th with Ibeabuchi. Round 9, by CompuBox numbers, these 2 heavyweights had thrown a total of 1,300 punches. That's 200 more than welterweights Oscar De La Hoya and Bernell Whitaker were seen to throw in their 12 rounds against each other. If you buy a ticket and see a fight like this, you've gotten your money's worth. Another great night of boxing here on HBO's Boxing After Dark, the baddest boxing telecast in the business. Solid left hook by Tua, and he follows with another left hook. And a right across the top. The strong Ibeabuchi able to weather the storm. Left hook to the head, left hook to the body. Ibeabuchi snapping the jab. Tua walking right through Ibeabuchi's stuff at this point.
David Tua is one of those fighters who's a mile wide and a mile deep. There's real depth to him. The way he keeps coming against a bigger, heavier man, takes everything. This is a very rare thing to see in any fighter.
Joe Frazier.
Those kind of guys. I saw Joe Frazier in his first fight in Madison Square Garden, knocked down twice by Oscar Bonavena in 1 round, came close to losing that fight, got off the canvas in the middle of the round, finished the round, won the fight big. That's what it takes.
David Tua has landed several clean power shots here in the 10th round, landing left hooks and right hands over the top, as he has throughout the second half of this fight. Fascinating fight to score. The early portions clearly belong to Ibeabuchi. Middle segment seemed to belong to Tua. Both fighters have had their moments in the last couple of rounds. Great combination by Tua. Great combination by Ibeabuchi.
Right uppercut away from me, got to use the left one, all right?
Okay, you're doing all right, son. You're doing all right. That's a nice little move. I need a better one. You got your second win now?
Yeah.
You feel good?
Yeah.
Okay, let's throw some punches.
I'm here.
Let's throw some punches. The right hand, listen, the right hand you throw.
Most punches ever thrown in heavyweight fights scored by the CompuBox punch counters. 14 rounds for Ali Frazier 3, the Thrilla in Manila, 1,591 punches. That's the record. Record for a 12-round fight, Tua against Izanrite, December 21, 1996 in Uncasville, Connecticut. And you saw there, already through 10 rounds, Tua versus Ibeabuchi, third on the all-time CompuBox list. And in the last round, the 10th, Ibeabuchi threw 85 punches. And comes out punching to begin the 11th. But it is Tua who is landing the harder, more damaging shots. Like that right hand right there. And just as was the case with the first of our two fights tonight, Larry, neither man likely to be penalized in public estimation by what they've done here.
If this formerly unknown fighter should lose the fight to Tua, he is obviously on the long list, if not the short list, of heavyweights you want to see again. Harold, 10 rounds. How do you have it now?
Larry, 6-4, 96-94, David Tua. I think he's winning this fight on effective aggressiveness and clean, hard punching. But I want to tell you, this is a rough fight to score. It could go either way, and the judges really got to lead to get a good view of this fight. I'm telling you, this is going to be a tough, close decision.
I agree with you, Harold. I have Tua ahead 5-4-1.
Remember Mike Tyson saying a few years ago, I work in a hurt business. This is a hurt fight. Both men hurting each other constantly throughout the battle. Neither man ever in danger of going down, despite all the hard punches that have been landed. Two very strong heavyweights. Competitive will, continually moving him forward against a man who wants to win just as much as he does. When you prove your desire is equal to that of David Tua, you've really proven something. Ike Ibeabuchi emerging as a star himself in this down-to-the-wire battle with super prospect David Tua. By Tua and he's hurt.
Here he comes. Here comes Tua at the end of the fight once more.
Just as he did against Maskaev and his son Rete, Tua cleaning out the kitchen in round number 11. Woo!
Tua. Look, the last round, baby.
This is going to decide the fight this round.
This round decides the fight, baby. Tua. You just gotta keep throwing punches like that, okay? No, Tua, you can do this, baby. I promise you, you can do this. I know you can do it.
You got to go for broke. 3 minutes of hell. Last round, you in good shape. Yeah. Keep your hands up and throw punches. In God we trust.
Okay?
Boy.
Let me get this a couple times out there. Now let me see you hurt him this time again. You want the fight? You want to be champion, baby? You want to be champion? Then get the hell out there.
All this hard work you got, you gotta go now.
Yours. It's yours for taking. You got to go out here and fight this motherfucker, okay?
Come on. Give me the mouthpiece. Give me the mouthpiece. Suck it up. Suck it up. Okay. Fire hard. You're not hitting hard with your hook in your right hand. Come on, you hit hard on that.
This is the championship is going on. You got to go out there and fight. You got to go out there and fight.
What a fight! And as they come out for the 12th, Ike Ibeabuchi smiles at David Tua and nods as if to say, hey, you are some man.
And Tua smiled right back at him, Jim.
Fabulous sportsmanship, great competition. Both fighters giving it the best they've got. Ibeabuchi starting the 12th the way he started the first, firing combinations to try to get Tua's attention. And Tua coming on with the heavy artillery.
Very good punches. Very, very good punches.
Both fighters unbeaten. Neither man wants to lose. Tua trying to bust Ibeabuchi. Ibeabuchi up in the 12th with that massive left hook.
It's almost a shame, Jim, that one of these fellows isn't a champion and the other a challenger, because this would be one hell of a heavyweight championship fight.
It has been that caliber of a battle. Probably going to wind up with an all-time CompuBox record for most punches ever thrown by heavyweights in a 12-round bout. In fact, as I turn to look at the punch counters, they assure me it's already a record. Crowd chanting, Tua, Tua, Tua. Ibeabuchi deserves just as much adulation tonight. Tua looking for another one of those late knockouts. Ibeabuchi hoping to get to the scorecards and see if maybe the judges have seen it his way. To go, David Tua versus Ike Ibeabuchi, another instant legend fight on HBO's Boxing After Dark. Two thunderous left hooks by Ibeabuchi, answering an explosive left hook by Tua, and Tua again, and again.
I've never seen two big men hammer at each other quite like that, Jim. We may have seen better fighters, surely. Great fighters, but two big men hammering at each other like that for 12 rounds, throwing that many punches, that's extraordinary. I thought Tua won a close decision.
I think so, too. I'll be surprised if David Tua doesn't get the decision, but I can't wait to see Ike Ibeabuchi again.
Harold, how do you have it after 12?
Larry, let's make it a threesome. I thought David Tua won a close decision. 115, 113, 7 rounds to 5, David Tua. I want to tell you something. I don't think he stole that last round with those last few shots. I thought Ike won it, but be as it may, I still think David had enough of a lead to win this fight. You know, when Ike gave him room to punch, David did best. When Ike stood in toe-to-toe in those first couple of rounds, I thought Ike did really well. But as the fight wore on, David Tua showed he was the stronger puncher. The reason that this fight is so hard on the judges is because half the time you're looking at a guy's back, because heavyweights move very, very slowly. They don't turn much. It's hard to really get a good view. In any case, 7-5, 115, 113, David Tua.
Extraordinary effort by both fighters, and what a statement on Ibeabuchi's courage and desire that after being hurt at the end of the 11th, he came out and clearly won the first minute of the 12th round, imposing his will on the extraordinary Tua during that part of the frame. And it is indeed an all-time record for punches thrown by two heavyweights in a bout scored by CompuBox over 12 rounds. In fact, they threw more punches through 12 rounds than Ali and Frazier threw in their 14 hellacious rounds in Manila.
I got it.
Still waiting for the official decision from the judges. Tua looking for his 28th consecutive win. Only the 5th time that he's had to go the distance. Ibeabuchi told us yesterday, after tomorrow night, I will no longer be a secret kept. And now let's go to ring announcer Jim Hall for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards. Judge Young scores this fight 117-111. Judge Ellis Bruce sees it 115-114. Judge Jordan scores this fight 116-113. Unanimous decision in favor of the new WBC International Heavyweight Champion, Ike the President Ibeabuchi.
Upset City for the second consecutive week on Boxing After Dark. A giant upset strikes the heavyweight division, as the judges are impressed by Ike Ibeabuchi's 975 punches thrown, most ever by an individual heavyweight in a 12-round fight. So a unanimous decision victory for Ibeabuchi, and he thanks God for the opportunity.
Thank you, Lord.
Final punched at numbers, and you can see that Ibeabuchi landed 40 more punches, threw 220 more, a lower percentage, but both fighters landing at an extraordinary high percentage in this high-contact boxing match. You're about to meet a delightful personality as Larry Merchant stands by with the winner, Ike Ibeabuchi.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Congratulations, Ike. What won this fight for you?
God first. In fact, I told you what has been hidden from the wise and the prudent have been revealed to the babes and the sucklings. I did not come to fight. I did not come to fight flesh and blood here, but spiritual wickedness in high and low places. Thank you.
You said that you were a secret about to be discovered. How hard was it to be discovered tonight?
Well, you know, I didn't care because my promoter said, Krishna, he knows what he was doing. I think he was trying to keep me a secret, but I think after today I'm no more a secret.
Were you concerned that you had fought lesser opponents than Tua up to now?
I mean, it depends on what Cedric puts down in front. If Cedric puts Evander, my brother in Christ, if he puts him before me, I will take it up. If he puts Tyson, I will take it to him. I'm not scared. God said, don't fear no one.
Right now, in boxing terms, why do you think you won this fight?
Well, you can see the ring generation. I mean, Tua is a great champion. I mean, I didn't take anything. I told you yesterday that I'm just a passerby. I still recognize him. He hit me with a couple of good shots, but hey, God is my turn.
You said ring generalship. Do you mean the fact that you had more versatility than him and you could fight him from outside?
Yeah, Tua is a one-way fighter, and I told you yesterday that if I get in close with him and do what he likes to do, which is to brawl, then I will go into box. And I box him too, and I fought him too. So you can see, you saw me doing the two things. That's ring generalship. Curtis, I told you, this guy is a legend. Yeah, it's time to give him...
Curtis Coates, just his comment, how far can Ike go?
I think he can go all the way. He's a young fighter. He's a full fighter now. He can do it all. He can box. He can slug. He's got ring generalship. He's a smart man. He can do the whole thing.
Thank you very much, Curtis Coates. And now let me go to David Tua. David, a very, very hard, tough fight. What was so difficult about this opponent compared to the others you fought?
First of all, I thank God that nobody was seriously injured, and I give the opponent all the credit in the world. He's a very tough competitor and a good fighter, a good sportsmanship as well. But you know, it's one of those nights, you know, I was trying to put it together, and you know, I felt good, but it wasn't good enough tonight.
Was his ability to, on occasions when he needed a blow, to stand outside and box, where you had to keep coming, did that give him some kind of edge, do you believe?
Well, he just fought a good fight, you know. It just wasn't, a couple of times I wasn't going around where I was supposed to do, and, you know, I paid the price.
Thank you very much, David, for a gallant fight.
Moore, as Larry mentioned, 24 wins, no losses, all 24 wins by knockout, only 2 of the 24 in the heavyweight division. And for Alex Stewart, the record shows only 2 losses, both of them by knockout, an 8th-round TKO loss at the hands of Evander Holyfield when he was bleeding badly, but after having given a good account of himself, and the first-round embarrassment against Mike Tyson here on HBO. Tail of the tape, and you will see that Stewart is the bigger man. Moore weighed in at 214.5 pounds, his heaviest so far. Stewart weighed in at 230 and appears to have added some muscle across the chest since the loss to Tyson in December of last year. Punch stat numbers, Larry Merchant.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get things started with 10 rounds in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He's wearing the black trunks with gold trim and weighed in at an even 230 pounds. His professional record, an outstanding one, 27 victories, all 27 by KO, only 2 defeats. He's from Tampa, Florida, and ranked number 5 in the world by the World Boxing Council. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex the Destroyer Stewart. And across the ring in the red corner, wearing the Kronk gold colors with red trim and weighing 214.5 pounds. Also, an unbelievable record, 24 victories, 24 KOs, 0 defeats. He's from the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. Ranked number 12 in the world by the WBC as a heavyweight. He is the former WBO light heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Moore.
I can't see his cue. Boxers, you've been given your pre-fight instructions in the dressing rooms. I expect you to obey my commands at all times promptly. Above all else, protect yourselves at all times. Shake hands. Good luck.
Keep in mind that Michael Moore, although he fights southpaw, does everything else right-handed, like as Marvin Hagler did. The right hook is the punch that might be his most dangerous punch. He is a natural right-handed puncher.
And you take a look at Alex Stewart, who in the minutes before his knockout loss to Mike Tyson last year was bone dry. He has worked up a good sweat and appears to be properly warmed up for this assignment against Moore. Now, George, Stewart tells us he has never before fought against a southpaw. How big a challenge should it be in the early rounds to begin to figure Moore out?
Look at those big thighs. Guy's built like a football player. On paper, you wonder why Emmanuel Stewart would even match his fight with this big guy. On paper. Southpaw doesn't matter if you can really punch.
And Stewart, according to his record, has been able to really punch against 27 of 29 opponents. A ripping right hand inside early by Moore, and Alex Stewart begins to go to the body.
Stewart is really unorthodox. He's landing good body punches in case the fight goes 4 or 5 rounds. Things pick up for the bigger guy.
Neither fighter has ever participated in a decision, and this has the early look of a slugfest. They are standing and pounding away.
You can tell Stewart doesn't like southpaws. Blinking his eye a lot because he doesn't know what to expect. To be jabbed by right hand is awful.
And there's the straight right jab, scoring inside for Moore.
And Moore already has a bloody nose.
Yeah, he does. Blood coming from the nose of Michael Moore in the gold trunks. Stewart in the black trunks. Just a little bit more than a minute into round 1 in Norfolk, Virginia.
Stewart started to watch that blood. He's going to go crazy.
Big test for Michael Moore, and echoing what you said, George, Alex Stewart told us yesterday, Emmanuel Stewart was crazy to let his young fighter into the ring with me. This is a big opportunity.
Only on paper. Michael Moore is trying to open up with hard punches too early, I think.
Giving Alex Stewart a chance to trade with him.
You got to soften up a big guy like that. Oh, good body punch by Stewart. That hurt.
Good right hand punch by Stewart, but a good left and a right comeback from Moore. Moore going to the head. Stewart focusing more early on the body. Both fighters doing damage. And Stewart is hurt.
Stewart is really hurt, and he's cut.
Moore landing the right hand over the top. Stewart in serious trouble against the ropes. Plenty of time left in the round. Down goes Alex Stewart. Referee Chris Wallison. There's a cut over the left eye of Alex Stewart.
Think about Moore. He's an excellent finisher, more so than a...
Well, he's got 20 seconds in which to prove just how great a finisher he can be. Goes to the body. Back to the body again, and then back upstairs. Stewart counters with a right hand. Still in trouble. Down again.
The end.
Cannot be saved by the bell. Clock is well past 3 minutes now. I don't know why we have not heard a bell to end the round, and there it is.
A magnificent round from Michael Moore.
The small cut. You got to break your body standing. Right. All right. Take it easy. That's what you got me for. Okay, right. Don't worry about that. Come on, Alex. Okay. Don't worry about it at all.
Harold Letterman. A clarification for us if you can. Well, first let's look at this replay, Larry.
Moore landed a tremendous number of clean punches. As I mentioned earlier, it's the right hand that, although he fights southpaw, George, you can see there, he's really winding up with that right hand.
The thing that's so difficult for Stewart, he's expecting a left when the right is coming. All kinds of things are happening bad for him tonight.
Harold, why didn't the bell ring at the 3-minute mark?
Be said by the bell in any round, including the last. I spoke to Commissioner Doug Beavers of Virginia about it, and he said that the bell will sound after the referee cleans off the fighter's gloves when he regains his feet.
All right, well, the round was 3 minutes and 16 seconds long, and too long for Alex Stewart. And how tough is it for Stewart against the southpaw? Moore landed 27 of 34 jabs in round 1.
Stewart is accustomed to fighting with a cut, so that's not going to bother him.
He fought with a cut against Holyfield and fought valiantly, hurting Holyfield in the 5th round of what became an 8th round TKO loss.
Get off his head.
But he also bled profusely.
He just doesn't know what to expect from this southpaw. It's coming in the wrong angle.
George, I think what keeps Stewart going is the conviction that if he can get one good punch in, he can change the tide of the fight.
The puncher's stop. Just give me one good one. It'll be over. And he's almost getting one now. This guy's throwing away a lot of his punches. Moore. That big guy lays on him. He's going to be tired.
Well, Moore appears to have slowed down just for the past 15 seconds or so. And he's giving Stewart a little chance to catch his breath.
Stewart is constantly landing the body punches. Unfortunate for him, he just doesn't know how to get away from a southpaw.
He's got a discouraged look on his face, George.
Don't be holding. Watch your head.
And there's a solid left hand.
The thing about fighting a southpaw, you've got to keep that left foot of yours on the outside of his and keep that jab going. You can't let your left feet or your left foot get in the inside of his feet.
Well, I think footwork is the least of it right now for Alex Stewart, who is hoping to stand up long enough to land a good shot. Right hand ripping up inside for Moore, and Stewart is hurt again.
Moore was hurt with a body punch also, a left hook to the body. He's taking time to fill it. Left hook by Stewart.
Stewart landed a solid right cross.
Somebody's better do something. That's the game that Stewart wants to play.
Plenty of time left in round 2. You can see that Moore does not cover up when he's hurt. He throws punches instead.
As I said earlier, look at the big thighs, like a fullback on Stewart.
Moore's head is clearing as he steps away from the ropes.
Step back, I got you. Step back clean.
But Stewart caught him with a mammoth right hand shot in there that almost turned the bout completely around.
I told you that one punch he has, it can end all things.
Now Moore goes back to the jab.
Close up, Alex. I got you. Step back clean.
At this point, Stewart has got to keep his left foot on the outside of Michael Moore's right foot. Doesn't seem to care at this point.
Stop. Heavy bleeding from Alex Stewart, and he walks to the wrong corner at the end of the round.
All I got to say about that round is wow and wow again. You don't see many heavyweight fights with that kind of heavy shots. landing consistently.
The guy was hurt. You're going to break your body. Go on your knees. Keep the stick going. Okay? Okay, baby. Okay, hold on. Okay.
And the Norfolk crowd loves it.
Let's see if we can catch that shot that turned that fight around. There it was, a straight right hand on the bridge of the nose. Obviously hurt Moore and looked almost for a few seconds as that was going to be the end of it, George.
The only thing saved him is that awkward position he lies. He just stays in that southpaw position. You don't know what to come back with.
You know, the question about a light heavyweight when he moves up to a heavyweight is two things. One, can he take a heavyweight's punch? And two, can he deliver a heavyweight's punch? He's landed a lot of hard punches, George.
And he's taken some good shots.
If he was a true heavyweight, you think he would have knocked Stewart out already?
No doubt about it.
You think so? So you think this is a black mark against his record that he hasn't gotten Alex out of there in 2 rounds?
That's true.
I don't know.
If he had not been a right-hander, right-hand lead, he would have been out of there himself. Michael Moore is for real, no doubt about it.
All right, well, we'll clarify that one after the fight, because I'm confused as to what you think. But right now, too much action to talk about it, as both guys are wailing away one more time.
In my mind, Michael Moore is a great fighter, but he's not going to be able to long period to take those big heavyweight shots.
Watch your head.
He has a tendency to want to lay on the rope. Bad habit for a guy who's not too big anyway.
Come on at it.
Well, he probably hasn't been in against too many previous opponents who could hurt him. He was too strong for the light heavyweights he fought, and the first 2 heavyweights he's been in against were lesser fighters. But now a real test, as there comes the right hand again.
Stewart is starting to lay on him a little bit. Michael Moore is blowing his nose. You never do that when punches are still landing.
Step back. Watch your head.
Stewart could just lay on him for a couple of rounds. He could turn the tide. Good left hook by Stewart.
Stewart seems a lot more sure of himself now than he was in the first 2 rounds. You get the feeling that Stewart believes he's taken what Moore has, and he's weathered it. And now he's turning things around.
That Stewart just leans on him and leans on him. Things are going to change.
A much different look on Alex Stewart's face as the big man, littler man equation seems to begin to operate in his favor.
Moore's punches are starting to be just real lazy. Not much zip and zap to them.
Now this has been Stewart's round, George. He's getting a lot of opportunities to go to Moore's body against the ropes, and he's taking advantage. There.
Let him up. I got you. Step back clean.
Great boxing. Great boxing.
Moore beginning to grab and hold.
I don't blame him.
To the heavyweight division, Michael Moore.
Thank you. Okay, we're ready.
All you gonna do, Mike, is just punch the whoop.
Okay, stay off the rope. Let's get back to the right jab this round, okay? Very important. We got to go back to this here, okay? We got to get back to the right jab.
When you get you on the rope, tie him up so the referee breaks. Stay off the rope. You got to use your jab. It's perfect, but you're not using it.
When you get that real quick. Yeah. Mike, this will run the number game right down the pipe. When you're inside, go to the body. He's tied. The guy can't take it to the body. Okay? Break your body. Don't stand in front of that ring. Okay? You in shape. You're going to get your second win after a while. I want you to go downstairs. Huh?
Seconds out.
Okay, come on.
Right now, let's give the highest marks to Alex Stewart, no matter what happens in this fight, coming back from those 2 first-round knockdowns. I don't think any of us imagined that we'd still be here after that first round.
And in round 3, Stewart was the busier fighter and landed more punches than Moore. And you heard the men in Moore's corner saying, you've abandoned the jab, go back to it. He landed 57 jabs in the first 2 rounds and then unaccountably laid on the ropes and allowed Stewart to hit him in the third. Then they go back to the ropes again.
Stewart has got a 5-year-old daughter. Told me she'd be watching him today. He's going to put on his best effort. Daddy, get up, that kind of stuff, you know.
Well, Stewart's wife and daughter were at ringside for the Tyson debacle, and he thought it was a distraction to have them there. There's a solid left hand from Moore, and again the blood begins to flow on the bridge of the nose for Alex Stewart.
Moore is indeed a good puncher for any weight. Shouldn't be any doubt in his mind that he can punch.
Solid body punch from Stewart with the right hand. He pins Moore against the ropes.
Michael! Hit him up! I got you! Hit him up! Step back! Alex, step back!
Emmanuel Stewart up on his feet, shrieking at Moore to come back to the center of the ring. Slowly, Moore does it. And now, with blood flowing from Moore's nose, he resumes the attack at center ring. A lot of blood on Stewart's face.
Look like a new cut.
And Moore scores twice with the uppercut, and Stewart is down again.
Boy, that's a knockout.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Now he's going to get up again.
7.
A lot of blood from over the right eye. I think it's too bad to continue. Yeah. Good stoppage.
Knockout.
Good stoppage by referee Chris Wallison.
Well, you don't see many heavyweight fights like that one, George.
No, and it's because Stewart decided, I'm going to win this. I've got a chance.
Yeah.
And it called for a good fight.
Again, high marks to him coming back from a devastating humiliation at the hands of Mike Tyson. To be able to fight this well, fight this hard, I should say. And also the highest marks to Moore, because it looked there for a moment that he had found that the heavyweight division was a little too heavyweight for him.
Well, in essence, this is reminiscent of Stewart Holyfield, isn't it? As Evander Holyfield was able to rock Alex Stewart. Stewart showed his courage, came back in the middle rounds to briefly command that fight, and then lost because he cuts and he bleeds. Same thing happened here. Fourth round action.
Yeah, the left hand hurt him, the right hand finished him. That right hand, once again, the right hand was the finishing punch in this fight for Michael Moore. And also high marks to him, because he went in with a big, strong, well-conditioned, determined man who put him on the defensive, and Moore found a second win and came back and dominated the fight.
Moore is no doubt a future champion.
Those 2 right uppercuts tend to put you in mind of a fellow named Mike Tyson at his best.
I'm telling you.
And the mask of defeat on the face of Alex Stewart, who's now getting a good hand from the crowd live in the ring as we look once again at the knockout sequence. All right. So now, for the official particulars on the knockout, let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I give the official time, how about a round of applause for 2 heavyweights who came here to fight for all the fans here in Norfolk, Virginia. The official time, 1 minute and 54 seconds of the 4th round. The winner by knockout victory, his record now 25-0, 25 KOs from the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, Michael Moore. And a round of applause for Alex Stewart from Tampa, Florida.
And you look at the total punches in the bout. They were just about even in the number of punches they attempted. Moore was the more accurate of the 2, and it was that accuracy which in part paid off with the 2 big cuts over Stewart's eyes and the 3 knockdowns. And now here is Larry Merchant with the winner.
All right, Michael, welcome to the heavyweight division.
Thank you, thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank God, and a special hello to Van down in, I forget where she is, but on a speedy recovery. Thank you.
You thought it was over in the first round. You leaped up on the ropes. You were ready to take your congratulations.
I'm getting pumped. Whew, he's a tough fighter.
Were you surprised how well he came back?
Yes, I was. That shows a sign of a veteran, of a good fighter. A lot of people doubted me because they think I'm a blown-up light heavyweight. We talked about it. But I think I proved the point right now to show that I am a legitimate heavyweight. I took some good shots. He hurt me once. I exchanged some good blows with him.
All right, tell us about that round, that third round, when he nailed you, drove you into the ropes. How hurt were you?
I wasn't hurt. I was just stunned for a minute. Then he came back. With a good follow-up punch with a hello to everybody in Manessa, and also that was a sneaky one.
All right, let's see this last knockdown and describe to us what you see.
I see two guys fighting right now. It was a good. Emmanuel was telling me to throw a right uppercut on the inside, a short punch, and that's what I did. I had to wait for the special moment to throw it, and damn, I'm pleased, boy. Shit, I'm telling you.
What exactly pleases you about this? That he didn't go as fast and you had to regroup and get him again?
I had to bring everything out the woodwork. I had to show that I was a game young fighter like I am. I had to show that I'm a legitimate heavyweight, and this was a good fight for me. For instead of going short distance, it went 4 rounds, 4 good hard rounds, and I appreciate it.
What kind of timetable do you have for yourself before you challenge for a championship?
Well, I don't want to be rushed. I want to take my time to let everything happen in time. I don't want the easy road to the heavyweight championship. Never been a southpaw heavyweight champion in a long time, and I just want to take my time and fight the good quality guys. And I'm going to be there. I'm going to be ready. God willing, I'm going to be there.
Well, we'll be there to watch you. Back to ringside.
All right, so Michael Moore extends his record to 25 wins, 25 knockouts, another event in what has already been an eventful weekend in the heavyweight division. Let's turn our attention briefly right now to what may turn out to be the biggest story of this weekend in boxing, that the potential charge of rape against Mike Tyson in Indianapolis. The allegations arise from Tyson's visit to Indianapolis last week for an event called Black Expo, an event which, as you can see, attracted a variety of black leaders from across the country.
The mint mixer packed with explosive blew a hole in the wall protecting that hotel. That massive explosion was caught on camera. It was moments after 2 other car bombings. No U.S. soldiers were killed in today's blasts. And in Washington, a man who grew up in